right? So now we are talking about angles. So this is what you would call a complementary angle, right? Where A and B will give you 90 upon addition. This is what you call a supplementary angle, where upon adding A and B, you get 90 degrees, 180 degrees, right? Now, what's a reflex angle? A reflex angle is an angle which is greater than 180 but less than 360, right? So it's between these. So it's greater than 180 but less than 360, 360, right? So this is what it would look like. It's between 180 and 360. So it's greater than this angle but less than a complete circle. A complete circle is always going to be 360. But then again, we won't have this one. We'll have questions about reflection, which we haven't had as yet, but we can see those at a later date. So, talking about adjacent angles, angles on a point, when you have angles on a point. So, you've got this point, and then there are angles forming all around it. And you can see this complete circle forming around it, right? So, what did we say? Complete circle is 360 degrees. So, when you add A plus C plus C, you get 360 degrees. So, this is what we call angles at a point. Okay. Complementary angles, the ones which form A plus B gives you 90. And here A plus B will give you 180. Right? Now you could have more than one line, right? And then this could be B, this could be C, and you could have A plus B plus C. And they would also give you 180, right? This is failure. Okay. So now coming forward to vertically opposite angles, when you have two intersecting lines, right? So you've got one straight line, and you've got another straight line. They're intersecting. These angles are vertically opposite, and these angles are vertically opposite. So they're equal to each, right? For example, here this angle C is equal to D, and the other way around, A is equal to C. Okay. Then we have triangles. Now, when we're talking about triangles, first thing that we have to remember is a few rules that apply, right? Scalene, isosceles, equilateral, these are types of triangles. When you're talking about a scalene triangle, it's a triangle which has no equal sides, right? An isosceles triangle has two equal sides. An equilateral triangle has three equal sides. And then when you look at the angles of all of these in an isosceles, since two sides are equal, again, that will be represented by two lines crossing, right? So there will be a line crossing here and there will be a line crossing here. Sorry, which will indicate that these two lines are equal. And hence, these two angles will also be equal, right? So, these two angles will be equal to each other. And then you'll have this angle, which will be different. Here, all angles will be different. All sides will be different. When you have a isosceles, and then you have a equilateral, which will be denoted by three lines, showing that all three lines are equal and therefore all three angles are equal, right? Now, when we're talking about triangles, the sum of all angles of a triangle is always 180 degrees, right? So this will always be 180, right? Now, if we're talking about triangles, if we have an isosceles triangle, whereby all three angles will always be same. So In an isosceles triangle, the angles will always all be 60 degrees, right? So this will be 60, this will be 60, this will be 60, right? In an equilateral triangle, in a isosceles triangle, sorry, this is for equilateral where all sides are equal and all angles are equal. So this will always have 60 degrees, right? In an isosceles triangle, the angle that you have, these two will be equal, and then you have another angle, which will be, right? Here all three would be different, but A, B, C, when you sum them up, it will be equal to 180. Then we have acute angle triangle, right? So acute angle triangles are all three angles are acute, whereby there are less than 90 degrees. In a right angle triangle, we'll have one angle which is 90 degrees, and in an obtuse angle triangle, you'll have one which is greater than 90. Okay. Now, looking at this particular property, this is what I like to call the P property, right? Because this looks like a P, right? It is flip this around, looks like a P, right? The letter P. So when you have these two angles A, B, and C, A, B, when they add, they will always give you C. Now there is a way to make this understandable. If you'd like, I'll give you that. So basically, what happens is, if you have this angle, let's name this B, right? So if we name this angle B, right, A plus B plus B gives you 180. Yes. So and D minus, oh sorry, D plus C gives you 180. Yes. So in a sense, if you write D minus 180, sorry, C is equal to 180 minus D. 180 is equal to C plus D, right? So you can write this as A plus B plus D is equal to D plus C. Yes or no? Makes sense, right? Because here you have a straight line whereby D plus C gives you 180. And here you have a triangle. So A plus B plus D gives you 180, right? So B plus C is equal to A plus B plus D, right? And if you have D on both sides, you can cancel them out because both sides are positive. And now you have this formula, which is for the exterior angle of a triangle, right? Now, what are exterior angles? This will come up further. So, when you have any box or any well, any image or any 2D figure, right? So, when you extend this line from this shape, right? This angle that is formed, this is called an exterior. Okay? So this is an exterior line. Now we have something called parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines which are, moving in the same direction, but they will never meet. Right? So they're moving in the exact same direction. So they will continue to move side by side, but they will never intersect one another. So these are called parallel, right? Now when we have parallel lines, we look for three letters, right? We look for a C, which can be seen here, right? We look for an S, which can be seen here, and we look for a Z, right? So you have these angles. When you're looking for a Z, the angles that are on the inner portion of that Z, for example, this portion or this portion, or if we look at this portion and this portion, these two angles will also be same, right? It will look like a crude form of Z, but it will look like a Z regardless. So if these two lines are parallel, if these two lines are parallel, these angles will also be same, and these angles will also be same. Okay, and furthermore, these are called alternate angles, right? Now, corresponding angles are angles where we look for an S. So we have two parallel lines moving, and therefore this angle and this angle are equal. Alternatively, we could extend this line, right, and make a new angle called that B, this B, which would make these two equal, right? So these two angles are A and these two are B, right? So this is the F property, which is called corresponding angle, right? And then we have co-interior angles. Co-interior angles are what form C, right? So C के formation के अंदर when we have these two angles A and B co-interior, so they're both on the inside. So when they're both on the inside, they will add up to form one. I hope I'm not going too fast. Okay. So this is what we're looking at after. Then we have angle properties of quadrilaterals. This is the one we did last time. Whereby when we have a quadrilateral, if we're looking at a square, all four sides are equal. Both diagonals are equal. Diagonals are the ones which are from one vertex to the opposite vertex. So the diagonals are equal and they all are perpendicular, whereby this is 90, this is 90, this is 90, this is right. All the corners are 90 degrees, all the sides are equal, all the diagonals are equal. When you're looking at a rectangle, you've got two sides that are larger and two sides that are smaller. When you have two diagonals, they're not perpendicular, that's for sure. So, so this is not equal to 90, right? Nor is this equal to 90. However, since there are two lines that are intersecting one another, they qualify for vertically opposite angles, whereby this angle is equal to this angle. This angle is equal to this angle. Okay? All the corners are 90 degrees. These are parallel and these are parallel. Right? Now, if you're looking at a rectangle, a parallelogram, or a trapezium, or a triangle, right? So, in a trapezium, these two lines are parallel, right? In a parallelogram, you'll have two sets of parallels. So how do they represent these lines? They will represent these lines by giving a single arrow to one set of parallel lines and giving a double arrow to the other set of parallel lines. Secondly, in a parallelogram and a rectangle, you have two sets of equal lines, right? So how will they denote that? They'll denote that by giving the first set of parallel lines or equal side lines one dash of sorts, right? and the other side will have two diagonals. Right? So this is how they denote a equal size in a parallelogram or a quadrilateral of any sort. Right? Now this is a rhombus. Rhombus has equal sides, but two sets of angles will be equal. Right? You'll have two diagonals, and it is not necessary that they are perpendicular, but they will be angular bisectors of these angles, right? So when you have this from this A angle is perfectly divided by 2, right? This B angle is perfectly divided by 2, okay? And then again you have the property of vertically opposite angles in the diagonal. So each angle is equal to the opposite angle. Yep. And since this is two sets of parallel lines, A plus B will give you 180. How? Because it looks like a C if you remember that concept, right? So this angles will be equal to 180. Now looking at the trapezium, it has only two pairs of parallel sides. It has only one pair of parallel sides. The sum of the interior angles at each end of the non-parallel sides is 180. Therefore, this side is 180, and this side with this side is 180. This is what you're doing at the moment. Polygons. Polygons have this formula that you need to remember when we're looking for sum of all interior angles. Okay. So when you're looking at sum of all interior angles, you can see here n is in the formula. So what does that n represent? N is basically how many sides does that shape have. Right? So how many sides does that shape have? Would give you this formula, and then you can get how many or what is the total sum of angles within that shape, right? So for example, if we have pentagon minus 2 times 180 gives you 540, as we did in the question below, right? So now you know when you add all of the angles of a pentagon, regardless of how it's shaped, if it has five sides, all of these will add up to 540, right? So even if it looks minky or has a different shape, right? So it could look like any sort of pentagon, right? It doesn't have to be a regular pentagon for it to have 540 as the total sum of angles, right? If it's a hexagon, again, minus 2 times 180 gives you 720. If it's a heptagon, minus 2 times 180 gives you 900. Okay, so that's the basic formula. Now you have sum of exterior angles of any polygon is 540. Now, as I told you, when I extend this line, this angle is what you call the exterior. Okay. So when I extend all of these lines like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I'll get 360. Okay. Now coming on to regular polygons, right? Regular polygons are the this side is equal to 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 all sides are equal in size, right? Oops. Okay. So if they're all equal, I can find one angle by dividing it by the number of sides because or the number of angles because number of sides is equal to number of angles. Okay. So if I have a hexagon and the formula for total sum of angles is n minus 2 into 180 is the total number of angles. In such the additive मिल जाएगा, right? So if this is A, so this is 6A in total, right? When we sum up all of these angles, six angles are right, and all of them are equal. So if I divide this by what's the number of sides? N is equal to 6. N से मैंने divide कर दिया and I shift these two with 6. I'll get the angle for one side, right? Which would give me 720 over 6, which gives me 120, right? Similarly, if I wanted to find the exterior angle of a regular polygon, and I know that it will always be equal to 360. I can divide 360 as in the sum of all these six angles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All of these six angles would give me 360. I can divide 360 by the number of sides, which would give me one of these angles, which gives me at 60 degrees. Which makes sense. If my interior angle is 120 and this is a straight line, I should get 60 degrees. Okay. So this is what we've done as a theory basis of the now moving on to questions. Right? Okay, moving on to this. When we have a regular polygon, okay, regular polygon का मतलब क्या होता है? Basically, we have all sides are equal. Okay. Now, एक चीज हमें पता है. We have mentioned this as a rule. Okay. Exterior angles of any polygon. Exterior angles of any polygon का मतलब it doesn't matter how many sides it has. Right? This when added 60, 60, 60, 60, 60. When added, all of these would give me 360. Okay. Regardless of what I am having as a shape. If I have a pentagon, okay, okay. So I have five sides, so I'll have five exterior angles, right? So all of these should be equal to 360. Now I know that the interior angles are 540. So one of these angles has to be 540 divided by 5 because it's a regular polygon. So what's 540 divided by 5? It's 108. right? Now this is a straight line, so the exterior angle must be 72 degrees. Okay. Now, as a concept, as a rule, we know that when I add 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I'll always get 360, right? So if I have 5 exterior angles, when I add them, I'll get 360. So if I want just one, I can divide that by 5, right? When I divide this by 5, I get 72, right? Which is here. So that further proves this. Okay. I hope it's clear now. Okay. Moving on. So I would like for you to solve Q, R, S, and T. Then we move on to further questions. Okay, that's right. Can you solve D, E, and F? Means you have basic understanding of the question. I was online and I'm looking for it. Try D, E, and F.
Sir, what was the rule for D?
For D, D for the rule not sugar. Try do that. However, actually we can. Remember this rule, which is like you have a triangle and then you have a straight line, right? So this angle will be equal to these two angles. Sum up. So for example, that's how we are you done? How far are you?
I'm unable to do all of them.
All of them. Sure. Okay, let's look at these questions. I'll do C first. Okay. Let's look at C. Okay. We're going to have to do some basic algebra here. This is the last thing we'll be doing, We've got y, we've got 3x, we've got 5x, we've got. Can we add all of these आपस में? बोला?
Yes.
Yeah, so what do we get? So it's 1
8x.
plus 3 plus 5. It's 1 plus 3 plus 5. This is something that you do often, right? इसका एक coefficient है ना, right? So अब क्या हो जाएगा?
9x.
9x, right? So now you've got 9x. 9x plus what do these all equal to?
180.
280, right? So if 9x is equal to 180, how much is x equal to? Yeah, can you give me the answer?
20.
Yep, right. So now you've got x is equal to 20. So how much is y?
160.
160. Okay. So now then see, looking at D, what can you tell, Alexa? What can you figure out? You've got to find x, you've got to find y, you've got to find z. Okay. Can you tell something on your own which is directly apparent at seeing the question? We've got one angle here.
Is y equal to 45?
Yeah, y is equal to 45 because this is a straight line. So now we've got y. Y is 45. We've got three angles here that are all x and they're all at a point. At a point, का मतलब क्या होगा? What happens when we add them?
We get 360.
We get 360. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is how many?
3.
Right? So you got 3x and that is equal to 360. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. So how much is x equal to?
120.
120. So now I've got two angles. Can you give me z? If this is a triangle, yeah. So sum of all angles gives you 180.
So z is 15.
Yep. Z is 15. Z is 15, x is 120. Now, what do you see in E? Just tell me what you see.
There are a few lines.
Right? And these two lines are equal, right? Or these three lines are equal, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So can we see that there are two basically triangles here? Yeah.
Yes.
And if their sides are equal, what kind of triangle is that? If two sides are equal, what kind of triangle is that? Now,
I don't remember.
it's called an isosceles, right? But do you remember the property it has if two sides are equal,
Yeah, then they have the same angle.
right? So this is equal to y and this is equal to x, right? So can you give me y and x? Yeah, can you give me the answer now?
Are they 72 and 32?
This is 72 and this is 33. ये दो angles हैं यहाँ. So you've got 2x and 2y. Okay. Some of these will give you 180. Right. So 180 minus 72 gives you 2x. And 180 minus 33 gives you 2y. Does that make sense?
X is 54.
Yeah. And what about y?
74.
No, just give me the exact. It's 73.5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Try f. Okay. Can you do f and then we'll end class? Okay. Looking at e again. E can where we have an isosceles triangle, right? When you have an isosceles triangle, we have two sides that are equal, and these angles that are formed on the sides that are equal are the same, right? So if this is A, this is also A, whereby if this is Y, this is also Y. If this is X, so this is also X. So X plus X gives you 2X, right? And then you have this angle, When we have 180 as the total angle or the total sum of angles of a triangle. So we've got this, we've got 2x. Right? So we subtract 72 from 180, which gives us 108. And when we divide that by 2 in order to find x, we get 54. Similarly, we can subtract 33 from 180, which gives us 147, which is equal to 2y. When we divide these both by 2, we get y, and that is equal to 72.5.
Is X 17?
Is x 17? We've got this angle as x, right? And then you have this angle as 73. We don't know that this is a, I'm sorry, we don't know if this is a right angle triangle, so यहाँ से direct से नहीं निकाल सकते. We can take out this angle, however, so which is equal to 34 degrees, yeah, and then we can take out this angle by right. So this is 146 degrees by that, and then when you have 146, you have 2x gives you 17 degrees. Okay. So there are two ways to do this. We could have gone the route with t, right? So you've got 73 here, 73 here, which gives you 146 here. Okay. So that's how you can get 146 by adding these two, right? Or you can do this where you take out this angle and then you subtract it by 1. Now 180 and then you have this angle 146, and then you know that these two lines are equal. Therefore, you have 2x. This equals to 2x, which gives you 34 is equal to 2x. Okay, which means x is equal to 17. Okay, okay. Let's end class here. Are there any questions? I would like to get some homework. Could you try these on questions G, I, and H? Send them in the group as soon as you're done. And I would like to take a class on Thursday, 4 to 5. Will you be available? Because Monday can you have to do. Now, good luck.
सर थर्सडे को मेरे पास कंप्यूटर साइंस है
Oh,
and then
and
1 hour before that I have English.
okay. Hmm. We have to
Can we
give
do
one class.
Sunday?
Sunday, what time? But I'll have to be early. Can you do 11 to 12 on Sunday?
Which day?
Sunday.
Okay.
Okay. ठीक है. Okay. Office. These questions are your homework, and I will see you on Sunday.
Allah Hafiz.